Good morning, students. New chapter. Next one is dual nature of radiation and matter. Here, dual nature means here particle nature and wave nature. So, in our total system, only two things are there. One is the radiation, another one will be the matter. So, radiation means what is the energy coming from the sun? That is the radiation. Only two things are there total our complete planet. Only two things are there only throughout the universe. Only two things, one is the radiation, another one will be the matter. So radiation is nothing but the light. It is the light energy coming from the sun, and here it is the matter. Matter means so any object, this pen, paper, everything is nothing but the matter. So in that the fundamental particle is nothing but the electron. That means it is the smallest particle in a matter is nothing but the electron. It is nothing but radiation. What is the radiation? Is nothing but here the light energy. What is that? Light energy. So this will be fall on our body, we get some sensation, and in that radiation we are having X-rays, gamma rays, UV rays, radio waves, all these will be there in our radiation. So it is nothing but this radiation is nothing but the electromagnetic wave. So this radiation exhibit wave nature as well as the particle nature. This radiation exhibit wave nature as well as the particle nature. Here also matter also exhibit wave nature as well as particle nature also. So that phenomena is nothing but the dual nature. Dual nature, that is nothing but two natures of radiation and matter. One is the particle nature, another will be the wave nature. So this radiation, what is the radiation in our complete universe consisting of only two things? One is the radiation, another one will be the matter. So for this purpose, in previously from Maxwell suggested there is an electromagnetism. He can explain only theoretically, but for experimental support is given by H. So by doing some experiments, so first H can doing some experiments in his lab. So he can take the one discharge tube at a low pressure according to Mercury Coleman. So you can take the two electrodes. One is the cathode, another will be the anode. These two ends are connected here through resistor, through some anode. When some amount of energy will be fall on this cathode, automatically on the metal surface some energy will be, that means here it is nothing but a anode. Anode is nothing but positive. So this it is nothing but a detector circuit. It is the detector circuit. Across this detector circuit you can observe some spark. You can observe some spark type of light. So this spark type of light is nothing but a, first they can assume this one is nothing but the electromagnetic wave. But actually here when some energy will be fall on this cathode, there is a emission of electrons will be there. So first Hertz experiments, those are the electrons, he will not give any clarification. So after this experiment nearby after 10 years, J.J. Thomson concluded that these are nothing but the electrons. He can experimentally, who is discovered the electron? J.J. Thomson. So before of that H can do the experiments, but he will not give any clarification. Okay, in that next, based on this phenomena we are going for emission of electrons and discovery of electrons and E by M ratio, that is nothing but charge per mass ratio. So those are all will be introduced. So it is the main basic. So based on this we can study the further topics, that is photoelectric effect, and next Davison and Germer experiments. What are the experimental supports for the radiations? Okay, all these we can go for that. So first topic in that is the electron emission. The first topic is here electron emission. What is the electron emission is nothing but here, if it is actually you have to take one metal. This metal having free electrons, that is nothing but here negative means here these are the free electrons. If suppose you have to just assume these are the free electrons, metal having free electrons, but it is electrically neutral. Why? Because how many number of negatives, the same number of positives will be there. So that's why it is electrically neutral. But these electrons are free to move throughout this metal only. These free electrons are free to move, but here it will be electrically neutral. So why? Because of how many number of negatives will be there, the same amount of positives will be there. That's why this metal is first of all electrically neutral. If suppose any electron is trying to shift, escape from this metal, automatically this metal will become as by losing of electron it will become positively ionized. By losing of electron, this metal will becomes positively ionized. So if suppose electron will be coming out, automatically it is the electron, and this will become as a positively ionized. So it is a positive and it is a negative. Then automatically there is a attraction existing between these two. That's why this electron will not escape from this metal. It is a free electron. For why this electron is not escape from the metal means there is a positive ionic force will be there. Positive ionic attractive force it is. So by losing of electron, this metal will becomes positively ionized. Automatically it will be positively ionized, and it is a negative electron. There is a attraction between these two. So that's why this electron is not escaped. If suppose what is this attraction force is there, this attraction force, some electrovolts will be there. So you can apply some external force to break this interaction. So then there is a emission of electron takes place. So this minimum amount of frequency is required to break this bonding or to break this attraction force. So that is nothing but the work function. So you are doing a work to break this attraction force. So that work done is nothing but the work function. That is nothing but the work function. It is indicated with phi naught. So the minimum amount of energy is required to separate the electron from the metal surface is nothing but the work function. So the minimum amount of energy is required to escape the electron from the metal surface. So that is nothing but the work function. So that work function means you have to give the external energy. So that energy E is equal to h nu actually. So you are doing the work, that is nothing but that work done will be here taken as the phi naught. Phi naught is equal to h nu naught is nothing but the here work function. What is the work function means? It is indicated with phi naught, that is equal to h nu naught, where h nu naught is nothing but the threshold frequency frequency. What is the threshold frequency? The minimum frequency is required to eject the electron from the metal surface. The minimum frequency is required to eject the electron from the metal surface is nothing but threshold frequency, or the minimum amount of energy is required to eject the electron from the metal surface is nothing but the work function. So phi naught is equal to here h nu naught, or phi naught is equal to h nu is equal to c by lambda naught. Okay, this is the work function equation. So you have to eject this electron from the metal surface by using three methods. Are required. One is the thermionic emission, another one will be the field emission, and next one is the our topic photoelectric emission. So this work function is minimum for cesium. This work function is minimum for cesium. That work function energy is equal to 2.14 electrovolts. That's a work function value 2.14, and maximum for platinum, that is equal to 5.65 electrovolts, and it is minimum for cesium and maximum for platinum. So all of you observe this table. Cesium, how much it is, the 2.14, potassium, sodium, so up to platinum. So for platinum, how much is the work function? 5.65. So you have to eject the electron in three ways. These 3 points are very important. So one is the thermionic emission. Thermionic is nothing but heat. By suitably heating, sufficient thermal energies can be imparted to the free electrons to enable them to come out of the metal surface. So you have to eject the electron by sufficient heat energy, thermal energy you have to impart it to that free electron, then electron will be ejected from the metal surface. It is the one method. And the second method is the field emission. You have to apply it by a very strong electric field in the order of 10 power 8 volt per meter. Then automatically electron can be pulled out of the metal like as a spark plug. And next one is, all of you know, it is very important topic. Our next complete chapter is the photoelectric emission. Already you learn in your chemistry also. It is when light of suitable frequency illuminated on a metal surface, electrons are emitted from the metal surface, then this phenomenon is called as the photoelectric effect, and the ejected electrons are called as the photoelectrons. Okay, here metals has free electrons which are held inside the metal surface by the attractive force of ions, the positive ions. So here it is the positive ion. So the positive ion will be attracted the electron. It will not escape from the metal surface. Okay. So these electrons come out of the metal surface only if has got sufficient energy to overcome the attractive pull. So that minimum energy is required to pull out the electron from the metal surface is nothing but the work function. So from here to here is the definition of the work function. All of you note down here. A certain minimum amount of energy is required to pull out an electron from a metal surface is known as the work function. Here the units are electrovolt. So what is the 1 electrovolt? What is the definition of the 1 electrovolt? So here 1 electrovolt is the energy gained by an electron when it has been accelerated by a potential difference of 1 volt. So here the electron is accelerated by a potential of 1 electrovolt. Then 1 electrovolt is equal to 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 18 joules. So 1 electrovolt is equal to 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. So by using this, you have to convert from 1 electrovolt to, so it is the relation between electrovolt to joule. Electrovolt to joule. By using this, you have to convert it from electrovolts to joule. So what is the 1 electrovolt means? 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. What is the 1 electrovolt definition? Here the electron is accelerated by a potential difference of 1 volt. Then 1 electrovolt is equal to 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. This work function, here phi naught is nothing but work function, depends on properties of the metal and nature of the surface. Some are very easy to eject the electrons, some are very typical to eject the electrons. So that is depending upon the applied energy. So if suppose phi naught value approximately vary for sensitive and surface of impurities also, like as alkali metals are there. So these are having one electron in a outermost orbit, sodium, potassium, like those. So these alkali metals means they are having one free electrons in their outermost orbit. If suppose by losing of this electron, automatically it will become stable. Already you know octant configuration, when the outermost orbit having 8 electrons in their outermost orbit, then it will be in stable state. So here is gain 7 electrons are easy, or losing 1 electron is easy. So that's why by losing of 1 electron, it is ready to lose the electron. Already you know NaCl bonding, sodium is very easy to lose their electron, and chlorine have high electron negativity. Why? Because it having 7 electrons in the outermost orbit, it is gained by 7 electrons in their outermost, 7 electrons are there. So like this. So by gain of 1 electron, it will be stable. Similarly sodium, it is a lose of 1 electron, it will be stable. So these sodium like alkali elements are very easy to eject the electrons. So the minimum energy is required for the emission of electrons can be supplied by the following physical process. One is already complete, it is thermionic emission, that means by applying heat energy. And next one is the field emission. Field means you have to apply the electric field in the order of 10 power 8 volt per meter. Okay. And next one is the photoelectric emission. Photoelectric emission. So for this photoelectric emission, first observation is Hertz observation. So what he can do? So already Hertz observation, he can take the one discharge tube. So this discharge tube consisting of the electrodes. So one is the cathode, another one will be the anode. So on the production of the electromagnetic wave, he can do the experiments for the production of the electromagnetic wave, not for to find the electrons, for the discovery of the electrons. He is not doing those. Only he can do the how to produce the electromagnetic wave. So after Hertz observations over, after 10 years, then those spark will be emitted because of the electrons. J.J. Thomson final after 10 years of Hertz observations, he can introduce the topic of discovery of the electron. So what is the Hertz observation? On the production of the electromagnetic wave, a spark discharge. Hertz observed that high voltage spark across the detector loop were enhanced when the emitter plate was illuminated by UV light. When the UV light is illuminated, so it is this plate, and it is the this one is the detector loop, and this one is the illuminated plate with the UV light. If suppose you have to illuminated by UV light, then some spark will be detected here, this across the detector loop. So this spark is nothing but electromagnetic wave. But this spark will be because of the fast moving electrons. What are the, if suppose this energy will be fall on the metal, after that electrons will be ejected from this metal. So these are the electrons, it is the anode. That's why these electrons are attracted towards to this plate. Towards to this plate here. Here he can observe the a spark. So this spark is electromagnetic wave. So it is the Hertz observation. Then after Lenard and Hallwach's observations, so they can observe, they can also do the experiments. Then after of Hertz experiments, Lenard observed when UV radiations are allowed to fall on an emitter plate of a evacuated glass tube enclosing two electrodes, current flow in the circuit. So you can take the one discharge tube. So one is the emitter plate, another will be the collector plate. This collector plate is nothing but anode and it is the cathode, and it is, these two are connected through a ammeter, a micrometer, like this. So when the UV radiation will be fall on this metal, then electrons are ejected from this, and these are the negative electrons, it is the anode. That's why these electrons are moving towards to this anode. So when the UV radiation will be fall on this metal surface, so there is a detection in this loop, there is a detection of current flow in the circuit up to fall on the UV light. So if suppose it is continuously fall on, you have to observe the light, that means there is a current flow in this through this circuit. So if suppose this UV light, what is the light energy fall on that, that you have to stop automatically. There is no indication in the ammeter, it will be stopped. So that will be first observed by Lenard. So when the UV radiation is stopped, current flow also stopped. So Lenard observed that when UV radiations are allowed to fall on emitter plate of evacuated glass tube enclosed two electrodes, so one is the cathode and the second one is the anode. So two electrodes, current flow in the circuit when the light will be fall on. As soon as UV radiation was stopped, you have to stop the UV radiation, current flow also stopped. This indicated that electrons were ejected from the plate which were attracted to the positive by electric field. So they are attracted because of it is a positive anode. And next one is the Hallwach's. So Hallwach's connected a negatively charged zinc plate. So this he can take the zinc plate, negatively zinc plate. Here in the place of cathode he can take the negative zinc plate. So observe that zinc plate lose its charge. So when the UV light will be fall on this zinc plate, automatically by losing of electron, this zinc plate will become as a positively ionized. That one is observed by Hallwach's. So zinc plate can be illuminated by UV light. So automatically this one will become positively ionized, that means positively charged. Why? Because by losing of electrons. So connect a negatively charged zinc plate to an electroscope. Observe that the zinc plate lost its charge when illuminated by UV light, and the uncharged plate becomes positively charged when it was irradiated with UV light. It was also observed that when UV light fall on the emitter plate, no electrons were emitted to all when the frequency was lower than the minimum value called threshold frequency, which depends on nature of the material and emitter plate. So if suppose here it is the zinc plate, you have to ejected some radiation. So this radiation having some energy will be fall on this metal plate. So if suppose this metal plate eject the electron is possible only. So if suppose this electron will be ejected, means this metal plate will be becomes positively ionized. So there is an attractive pull will be there for this electron. So automatically the minimum amount of energy is required to break this attractive pull, then only this electron will be ejected. If suppose that energy is lesser than this attractive pull, at that time the electron is not ejected from this metal surface. The electron is not ejected from this metal surface. It is only possible only threshold frequency, the energy frequency is greater than the threshold frequency, then only the electron will be ejected, is observed. So there is some minimum amount of energy is required to eject the electron. So lesser energy will be fall on this metal surface, there is no eject of electron. So that is observed by Hall watches. And metals like zinc, cadmium, magnesium, etc. respond only to UV light having short wavelength to cause electrons emission from the surface. Alkali metals like lithium, sodium, potassium, cesium, rubidium are sensitive even to visible light also. They can eject the electron. Why? Because these are all one electron in their outermost orbit. That's why they are very, to get the stable purpose they will lose their electrons. That's why these are the photosensitive substances. That's why they are called as the photosensitive substances. Even though if suppose visible light also fall on that metal surface, then also electrons are ejected. So what is the definition of the photoelectric effect? Means when suitable frequency of light energy is fall on the metal surface, there is emission of the ejection of electrons from the metal surface is nothing but the photoelectric effect. Okay, it is the photoelectric effect. Next we will go for the experimental study of the photoelectric effect for next video.